Biker Dad is brought to you by Noel Leonard, biker lawyer. Have you ever sat at your job and thought, what if I just got up and left? Tell that horrible boss to take this job and shove it. Have you ever wanted to just walk out? What about burnout? Well, that's exactly what I did, but I didn't just quit. I left my 25-year corporate career to ride motorcycles and tell your story. Daytona Beach, Florida, where you can actually drive onto the beach. Rick Fairless, a legend of his own, introduced me to Richard Rollins, Mayfield, Kentucky. Southeast Missouri, beautiful city of Knoxville, Tennessee. Gulf Coast of Mississippi, the Florida coast and the Tampa Bay area, Orange County Choppers, Roadhouse and Museum, talking to Paul Tuttle Sr. himself. But make no mistake, this is not a show about motorcycles or even about me. Instead, I travel across the country to meet the people who use their passion for motorcycles to make their communities stronger, safer, and better. This is Biker Dad. On the road in Texas, which is just outside Austin, about an hour. I met up here with another icon from my age, Riki Rachtman, if you recognize that name. He's the guy who introduced me to heavy metal when I was 12, watching Headbangers Ball on MTV, and he's rolling across the country for a good cause, and my shirt holds a little bit of a clue to what that's all about.
I am Riki Rachtman.
And I'm Leah Vendetta.
I owned a club called the Cat House. I hosted Headbangers Ball, worked in TV and radio most of my whole life. Since 2014, been riding all over North America, coast to coast 15 times, but this year is our biggest ride ever.
I'm a tattoo artist. I was on the first season of a TV show called Ink Master. I was also a tattoo model. Been riding on Riki's Ride since 2018.
It's kind of weird how it started. It started by me and my friends used to ride from Los Angeles to Sturgis, which I thought was so incredibly far. And then, to make it as short as I can, my dog died. I felt really sad. I got on my bike and I rode. And I found out that mentally for my head that I really liked riding by myself. And so I kept on riding, and then I would do coast to coast, and I started finding ways to raise money for it. And Riki's Ride became a thing where people would meet us all over the place for social media. So basically, Riki's Ride, we raise money for different charities. This year, we're raising money for the 988 Suicide Prevention Hotline.
And well, I got involved in 2018. We met. You said, "Hey, I'm a biker, and do you want to go on a ride?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know if I'm gonna like it." And the first time you took me on a ride was on this beautiful bagger where the seat felt like
it was like a lazy boy wheels. Yeah, that was the first ride she'd ever been in, and I said, "Okay, Leah, just so you know,
it was amazing.
My other bikes aren't that comfortable."
It had heated seats, and it was just like amazing. So I was like, "Yeah, I love this." And we traveled all over the US and went to so many beautiful places, and I just loved it. And I've been on the ride since.
Yeah, like this is actually like, for us, this is like, it's beautiful though.
What's up, everybody? I'm Brittany Elliott. Some people call me BZ. I'm a tattoo artist. I'm from San Antonio, Texas. I still live there. I've been tattooing my whole life since I was 18, and I'm going to be 38 this year, so a long time. Well, I actually came out after working 2 days at a tattoo convention in Belton, and found out that my dear friends Riki and Leah were on their awesome Riki's Ride that they do every year, and decided to ditch the tattoo convention the last day and come out and surprise my friends, because I think that's a really awesome cause. So we're hanging out with Riki and Leah, celebrating his birthday and having a good time at the Leatherface house. So I know Riki and Leah because I work for the Headbangers boat. I'm one of the tattoo artists on the Headbangers boat for 6 months. So I do a lot of work with them for all the like rock and roll cruises. So that's super cool. So I met Riki because he's the MC of the Headbangers boat. And of course I know Leah is an amazing tattooer too. So she and I were like the guest tattoo artists the first year of the Headbangers boat. So we met each other and we're like, this is crazy. We're tattooing on a ship. And so she and I bonded because it was like a chaotic setting to be tattooing in, so that was super fun. And then we just hit it off. I'm like, I was raised on Riki Rachtman, of course, on Headbangers Ball, and I was just like, it was like meeting my long lost best friend. So it's kind of like a big brother type relationship. And yeah, so we met a few years ago on Headbangers boat, and we see each other every year on that. And my fiance Johnny Araya and I flew out to one of Ricky's final One Foot in the Gutter show, or maybe his last show he had in Vegas, but hopefully it won't be the last. Hopefully he'll come back. But we flew out to that. We just love him. We just think he's great, and we're just honored to be here and supporting him. We had to just bring a bunch of friends and make it fun.
I'm Billy Inslee. I'm from Houston, on the outskirts. We were just up here for a tattoo convention. Found out you'd be around here, so we came on down to check it out.
What's it like riding around here in just the general area?
It's beautiful. I mean, the landscapes, the hills, the nice turns, winding. Blind turns are awesome around here. It's just beautiful to get out on a nice day. Even a rainy day, it's still not a bad ride.
You know, connection to Ricky and all this stuff. What's it like have you ever met him before today?
No, this is the first time I got to meet him.
So were you like me, kind of grew up watching that
Oh
show?
yeah, for sure, man. Like Headbangers Ball is where everything came alive, and where people like me didn't know what we wanted, didn't know what we liked. He brought it out, and it was like, oh my God, that's what I want. That's me. That's what we need. So that's where it all comes from, is watching his show. Yeah, definitely. And then like you could go to the concerts and get in a pit, get all your emotions out, you believed there, and it was better than drugs. You were just calm. Everything that was wrong with that time of the day was done. Music, do the same thing. Get in your room, jam out, and not worry about nothing. Yeah, I mean, I ride because it's where I get my serenity. My first bike I bought was after my first divorce. It was cheaper than therapy, and I love it. I ride now still to this day. It's been 15 years. I rode Rockets in the first one in the early 90s, and then jumped to Harleys, and ain't never turned back. My first one was a Road King, and I love it. I still got it, but I ride the Fat Boy more than anything.
The cause he's writing for is very personal to me. My maternal grandfather committed suicide after Vietnam. My mom became addicted to drugs after that, and my mom OD'd because of that. And then my brother was murdered. I've had this trail of death in my family. So I try to exude light and shine light on people, but it's a heaviness to carry all of that, you know, and especially when it changes your story that you could have had my grandfather never committed suicide. My family probably would have been a lot less chaotic and crazy, you know, and not crazy, but just there was a lot of heaviness and a lot of darkness that came with that, and it's a ripple down effect, and it affects so many generations that it's a lot of people say, oh, that's selfish. I don't believe it's selfish, because I feel like when you're struggling, that you don't feel like you have a way out of that, and I've struggled with that myself. I've been through dark times where I'm like, how can I go away and not hurt my family? And that's no place that you want to be. So I hope that anybody watching this, please reach out and get help if you're having those suicidal feelings, because we've been there. Life's been really tough, especially since COVID. And I hope that everybody just tries to lean on their friends in dark times like that. But I'm grateful to be here. Thank you, Ricky and Leah. Thank you, Rambler. And like I said, if anybody's struggling with mental health issues, reach out to me. I'll tattoo you. I'll be your friend. I don't want anybody to feel the way that I've felt because of all of my loss due to a suicide in my family. So it comes with it's really tough going through that. So just reach out to me, reach out to somebody if you're having those feelings. My social media is at BZ Elliott, ELLIOTT. And I also make furniture. I make heavy metal furniture that's called Heavy Metal Tables. So you can follow me at Heavy Metal Tables or at BZ Elliott.
I've ridden in every state except the one. When I did the TV show Daisy of Love, I rented a Ducati and rode through Hawaii, so I already got Ducati. One summer I rode through 48 states, but I'd never ridden to Alaska. And I felt like, okay, Leah, I'm getting old. My birthday is actually today. We gotta hit Alaska so I could say I've ridden in every single state. So I talked to Leah about it, and sure enough, everything got bigger and bigger. And from Sturgis, we go, well, if we're going to go to Alaska, we should go to Key West first. And we're riding all over the place. And the thing that we both do that's fun is we ask people on social media to suggest places for us to go and eat. And we pull into places, and people are there to me, like, we had like a lot of people here today. We're at the Texas Chainsaw Massacre House, and we do cool stuff in different areas. So it's not just about the riding, it's about meeting people on the road. And something that I really, really like is we just make so many new friends. And it sounds kind of cliche. We go out there and make friends, but we really do. I mean, we've met so many people.
And it sounds cliche, but it's not just about the destination, it's about the journey.
Right. As Biker Dad knows, it's really, wherever you go, it's everything that happens in between. And pretty much everything that's been happening in between is dangerous rain and thunder and hail for us.
So if you guys have been following me for any time, you know that it could be a 0% chance of rain, and this is what it looks like when I'm riding. This is Riki Rachtman. And,
And if you put the three of us together, we will bring a
Perfect storm.
we will bring a hurricane to the deserts of Sudan.
he's got the same problem. They've got the same problem I do. So when we come together, it looks like this. So we're gonna do this. Like anybody out there, if you're a farmer in Nebraska or Iowa or Missouri or something, and your irrigation's down and you haven't had any rain in a long time,
Bring Biker Dad,
yeah.
Ricky, and Leah. We'll bring the rain.
just pay for our travel expenses and we'll bring it to you.
Hi there, this is Chris Best, the Biker Dad. I'm just here to let you know that myself and the hundreds of thousands of people who follow us on social media and watch the TV show are here to help. Do you need help with something? Give me a call. That's my number right there, 251-402-6392. Especially if you need legal help, I have an army of lawyers across the country who can help you with injuries after motorcycle crashes especially, but other stuff like crime and everything else too. So give me a call, 251-402-6392.
Stock Harley pipes, quiet as a mouse. Harley Hydroglide Revival, it's number 1465 out of 750 that were made. So the Hydroglide was made up until about 58, 59. It was the first bike that featured what they called the beer can fork, that super suspension fork. It actually went from the Hydroglide. They kept the same bike, but when they added a rear suspension, they called it the Dual Glide. And I believe that was 59 that they did that. Anyway, in 2024, they did a revival of the Hydroglide. Kind of strange because it has a suspension in the back and it's got the great suspension in the forks there. Biker Dad and I are going to raffle this bike off to raise money for good causes. And the best causes that I know of often involve veterans, and when we can, they often involve animals. So we've been working with equine therapy group up in Stapleton. We're going to start working with some new groups who train service dogs for injured vets, not only to our brothers and sisters who served, who need our help now, but also, you know, I'm a dog lover, I'm a horse lover. My wife grew up in Tucson. She's a horse person. We're just doing what we can to give back to the community. So look for that in the coming months. We're going to give away this puppy. There's less than 500 miles on it right now. Love this bike. It's a collector's item. I'm just not a collector, and I think it's going to do more good if I can raise some money with a raffle and get that money to places that are going to help folks who need it just a whole lot more than I do.
We are in one of the most iconic spots in movie history and horror movies for sure, and that's it right there. They actually moved this house 60 miles. This is the house where they filmed the movie Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is coincidentally was filmed the same year I was born, I think. And they were gonna just tear it down and let it go to rot, but people picked it up and moved it 60 miles to here back in the 90s, and now it's a popular hotspot for bikers and horror movie fans and people who just want something good to eat. So what do you think about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house?
It's a pretty badass little place, man. It's a cool place to eat too, which is awesome. It was surreal. And then when you go to get on your phone and your signal drops, it kind of freaks you out a little bit, because you never know.
Some of the most iconic scenes of horror movie history, just movie history in general, happen on the other side of this door. And I'd show you clips of Texas Chainsaw Massacre to prove it if I could afford them, but instead we'll just take the 10-cent tour of the place. On the road in Texas and on the run from Leatherface, we are checking out the original house where Texas Chainsaw Massacre was filmed. It used to be 60 miles away from here. We moved into this tiny, beautiful town right on the water here in Texas. I don't know if you can hear me over the chainsaw, but it's pretty awesome. Having grown up
This movie came out the year I was born, so it's been part of my life since forever.
On this trip, what is the coolest stuff we've done so far? This is pretty cool.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre house was cool.
This is pretty cool. I mean, meeting Alan Danziger from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie.
Sitting in the house.
Sitting in the house, being able to like just ask him all kind of questions and.
It really, no, it is dancing except for the ER.
Veterans are really good at offering help, not so great at receiving help. Right.
I'm Carrie. I'm a licensed counselor, and I use horses as part of the therapy process with veterans with PTSD.
Hey, I'm Noel Leonard, biker lawyer, helping accident victims all over the state of Alabama. Biker Dad and I have been working together. You brought me in, Chris, but we've been working together on getting bikes, fixing them up, getting a whole bunch of people to put in on the effort, and then raising money for the benefit of a variety of charitable groups, notably the equine therapy up here that Carrie runs. I took one of my brand new bikes, the 2024 Harley Davidson Hydroglide reissue. We're going to raffle one off. It's brand new. It had less than 500 miles when you and I put it on the trailer. We're hoping to raise a whole lot of money, hoping to drop a bunch of money on the equine therapy group, service dogs in South Alabama. So we're looking for vet who we can match with our dog trainer, and we're going to help with the building fund of the American Legion Post 199 over on the Eastern Shore.
One of the coolest things in Austin, Texas, maybe even in Texas altogether, is this. It's called Barton Springs. It used to be a place where Indians did sacred rituals hundreds and hundreds of years ago, and Texans have been cooling off here since at least the 1700s. And yeah, this used to be out in the middle of the wilderness, but right there, as you can see, it's now right in the middle of the major city and one of the biggest attractions in town. Certainly a place you gotta come check out if you are in the hill country of Texas.
Your home for Lex and Terry in the morning rocks your workday with Pretty Reckless, Foo Fighters, and Linkin Park. Available on over 2,000 smart devices. The Gulf Coast Rock Station, TK101.
How you doing? I'm Rex Covington, also known as Lone Star Rider. And I've been on the road for over 5.5 years, raising awareness and money for the cure to diabetes in memory of my son. He was one of these guys that was very athletic, played soccer every weekend. He was running marathons, doing all kinds of stuff. And when he turned right around 21, he was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. He went to the hospital, almost died then, and he was able to control it and everything. But about 8 years ago, he started having problems with it, and he had a low blood sugar incident, and he crashed his car and died in a fiery car crash. Well, he was a bartender. We went riding. We even went riding. We flew over to Germany, rented motorcycles, and we used to ride in the Texas hill country all the time. He was riding everybody liked him. The first year I sold everything I had. And that's how it supported me, because everything that I collect goes straight to the American Diabetes Association. I don't touch any of that money. Everything that I collect and goes to them for research, because I want them to get rid of this disease. That's our agreement. So everything that goes in, and they have like a 13% overhead. That everything that goes in, takes care of, whatever they have to do for operations. Well, I usually eat restaurants where I sleep. State parks, national park, Cracker Barrels, truck stop, behind police stations. If you ask the police, they'll say, "Oh, just stay here, park here." Yeah, this thing pops up and I sleep in it. So most nights. Awesome. I get a hotel maybe 3 or 4 times a month. but that's kind of getting down lower because it's getting really expensive. So,
Oh yeah.
LoneStarRider.com or go to ridingforacure.com. Ridingforacure.com is where you can donate. If your heart contents, please do go over there. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel because they pay me gas money. And I'm also on Facebook and Instagram.
So I'm on the road in Austin, Texas, and I left the bike at the hotel to hit the gym. And I'm really excited because for the first time I'm going to be taking an automated Uber with Waymo. I think that's how you say it. Anyway, I know that not everybody likes that, and I know it also can pose a danger to bikers, so I wanted to try it once to check it out and see what it's like. It says it'll be here in just a couple minutes, and it's going to be a Jaguar or Shagwar or whatever. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. All right, I just saw the you can see the Waymo coming up right over there. The car is driving itself. See if it finds me. I know it's not everybody's jam, but I'm pretty excited to try this for the first time. And it's in the wrong place, so I gotta go over here, I think. So it's dropping somebody off. Let's see if it moves. That's my ride right there. Jaguar, but it's driving itself. See if it stops where it's supposed to stop. Pass me up. All right, well, just kept going. The deal is, well, one thing it did is take off on me and then passed me up, and I had to chase it down, so got to turn this off and use the app to unlock the door. I hit unlock the door and it opened up. Here we go. Hey, let's roll. Okay, click this button.
Hello, from Waymo.
Definitely put my seatbelt on.
Jessica, in the rare case of an emergency, please keep your seatbelt fastened and remain in your car.
So here we are, riding in the autonomous car. It's driving itself. Pretty awesome. You know, assuming we make it in one piece. Play your own music. Let's see, let's just do top 40 to get it going. Some guy just crossed right in front of it. So it's a little warm in here. I'm gonna try to figure out if you can change the AC. Yeah, temperature. Let's knock it down. I don't know what Celsius is, but make it cooler, I know that. It's a little warm, we're in Texas in the summer, so let's see, it's going, check the speed. See that? 35 miles an hour in the Jaguar. All right, so we made it in one piece with the autonomous Uber, and you gotta let it know that you're done by clicking that twice, or it won't open, it'll stay locked. So get out. We're at my hotel here in downtown Austin. We got everything. Yep. And I see the mail truck coming by. So that's all the navigation and self-autonomous stuff on the top of it. Or if it's waiting for somebody else. There it goes. Bye-bye, Waymo. So I thought it was pretty cool. What do you think?
Hey, Adam Sandoval here, touring across America, and you are watching Biker Dad TV.
Hey everybody, I'm Noel Leonard, biker lawyer. If you've been injured in an automobile or especially a motorcycle accident, I hope you know who I am. If you injure someone who's riding a motorcycle, I don't give a damn if you know who I am. Your insurance company sure knows who I am, and I'm coming for both of you. Please give me a call. I'm easy to find, happy to take care of you. This is my 2024 Harley Hydroglide Revival. It's number 1465 out of 750 that were made. You guys are going to hear more about this in the coming week, but Biker Dad and I are going to raffle this bike off to raise money for good causes, and the best causes that I know of often involve veterans, and when we can, they often involve animals. So we've been working with an equine therapy group up in Stapleton. We're going to start working with some new groups who train service dogs for injured vets. Just doing what we can to give back to the community, not only to our brothers and sisters who served and who need our help now, but also, you know, I'm a dog lover, I'm a horse lover. If you can throw dogs into the mix, anytime you can add a dog to anything, it just makes it better. I guess it's kind of like bacon.
Myself and the hundreds of thousands of people who follow us on social media and watch the TV show are here to help. Do you need help with something? Give me a call. That's my number right there, 251-402-6392. Especially if you need legal help, I have an army of lawyers across the country who can help you with injuries after motorcycle crashes especially, but other stuff like crime and everything else too. So give me a call, 251-402-6392.
Everything really is bigger in Texas. I just stopped in to duck out of the rain at Texas Harley Davidson in Bedford, and this place is just massive. Just take a look at that. And I'm not lying about everything being bigger in Texas. This is the largest bar and shield in the world. It doesn't look like it's that huge, but that's literally about 50 yards behind me at the service department here at Texas Harley Davidson, and I got the story behind it.
Hey everybody, it's Travis at Texas Harley, and I want to show you we have the world's largest bar and shield here in-house at Texas Harley Davidson. Come by and check it out one day. There was a dealership in the Northwest that closed down or rebuilt, something along those lines. We were able to purchase it from them. Took 3 18-wheelers to get it down here. And it sat in crates for about 2 years while we built the building around the sign for it. So it's a pretty cool deal, pretty cool to come in and see it. And obviously if you take a picture, it kind of dwarfs you, so it's pretty neat. From what I understand, we were originally going to try to put it outside, but the city got to draw a line somewhere, so we wanted to showcase our amazing service department, and what better way to do it than put a big bar and shield where everybody's got to come check it out. Yeah, so we're 72,000 square feet. We're settled on about 5 acres, so we do a full riding academy in the back, plenty of parking for everybody, motorcycles, covered parking under the awning, and then 72,000 square feet of nothing but Harley.